Well, good afternoon and welcome to Plan to Enjoy Pinterest for Meal Planning. I'm Tina. I'm sharing my screen today so you won't be able to see my face. And I am pulled up directly onto my Pinterest page. And so I thought that I would share with you for those of you who catch the replay and while I wait for those to join. I joined Pinterest when you had to have an invitation from somebody. I don't remember how long ago that was. So I've been on Pinterest for a while. It was, hi, Shalise. So Pinterest was one of those things that I was kind of an early adapter, and then I didn't like the direction that it went. And now I just use it for my own personal things. I don't spend a lot of time on Pinterest looking at the general boards. I just spend time organizing my stuff. So as we get started, I'm going to assume that you already have a Pinterest account. I'm going to assume that you know how to pin and that you understand how it works. So part of the reason why I'm on my page and not the home page is because, and this was exceptionally true when it first started, is when people pin things, you can pin to a generic web page or you can pin to a specific blog. I love Pinterest too. So I always try and pin to a very specific blog post or very specific recipe so that I know that if something's wrong with it, it's my fault and not because and it helps me not waste time when I do that. So I use a button on Chrome that will allow me to link directly through to Pinterest. I will also copy and paste, and I'll show you how to do that later. So I do that, and then, but I hardly ever just go into the app and start pinning stuff. Or if I do, I make sure that I click through and I verify that it leads me to the correct address before I pin, because there's nothing worse than having this gorgeous picture for this amazing looking dish and you're ready to make it and you click in it and it leads you to nowhere. That's the worst in my opinion. And there are a couple of websites that are really bad about that. Well, they'll collect images and you can pin from their page, but their page doesn't lead you anywhere and it just drives traffic to them and it zeroes you out. So that's my little soapbox. And what I'm going to start with, I'm going to show you my Pinterest page and how I have arranged things. So when I first started, I had these 3 boards that I would use that would help me organize after I've made a meal. So these are kind of my end results to some degree. And 3 very basic boards, woohoo, meaning we've tried them, we really like them, we want to keep them in our rotation. There's meh, which, they were okay, no reason to really make it again, but if you get into a problem, sorry about that. And then there's flops. And those are ones that I want to make sure that I never, never, ever make it again. What do you need help with? Do you need help with not hitting the dead end links? So, these are the things the flops are the things I never want to make again. They were terrible. They tasted bad. They took a long time to make. They were expensive, whatever it may be. They were things that when we sat down at the table, we said, no, we're not going to do that. And I'm going to show you, in case you don't know about this. First of all, let me talk about these boards. So these are my end game. And my end game is that I want to be able to find what I want quickly. And so I try to be very specific about my boards. So I have boards for pork recipes, for beef recipes, for chicken, for veggies. And then even within, when I find recipes that I want to try, those are even specific. So I break those down as well. And I have, so there's drinks, there's pressure cooker, so very specific in regards to how it's made or the ingredients, sourdough, sweet treats, veggie recipes, dehydrator. If it's just a general meal and I'm looking for meal ideas, I'll either go to this one, the low carb one, or the recipes to try in general. So one of these I've actually tried and made, and I'm going to save it. So what I first do, since this is my to try board, after I've tried the recipe, I will go through and I'll save it to where it should go. I want it to go into Woohoo because it was a great recipe. This 3-cup chicken, I don't know if you've ever had it. It's very salty, but it's very delicious and very rich in its flavors. So I'm going to save that to Woohoo. I'm going to save it to chicken recipes. And then I'm going to come in here and I'm going to delete it from this board as soon as those. So I'm just going to hit delete after I've done that. And I'm all done with it. So I'm not going to worry about that one again. And so when I come back to recipes to try, I know that I haven't tried any of these. And I also know that when I go to the whole meal ideas for Woohoo and things of that nature, I know that they're going to be good recipes. And that helps me keep everything organized. So I can go to a place and look really quickly at either, okay, I want to do something that we know that we like, or I want to try something new. I can find those pretty quickly on here. So if you haven't done, this is what I was going to do. So this is what I was going to show you. I was going to show you how to search. So in my pins, you can search your pins directly. So here's all my weird penny things. So I search for chicken sandwich. Now if I go right here, instead of all pins, if I click on that and go to your pins, it pulls up just the ones that I've done, which makes that a little bit faster. And then within that, if you're using the recipe worksheets, when you get down to the bottom of where to find, write down what board you found it off of, and that way it'll make it much faster when you're going into Pinterest. Because the thing that I dislike about Pinterest is that you can lose a lot of time. The thing that I love about Pinterest is that all of the recipes that I love that I found on the internet can all be in one place, and I can organize them how I need them organized. And I just look at it as a huge internet file folder and not necessarily a place to get ideas, but a place for me to save ideas. And that is, I think, the best use for it in regards to meal planning. That way you don't end up hitting all those dead end links, that you don't end up looking forever to try and figure out what you wanted. And so this is what I do to find recipes since I'm not using the home page. I will watch cooking shows and then go Google it. And I will pin those recipes. I will go out to eat and find something that I like in a restaurant, and I'll come home and I'll Google the idea of it, and I'll pin a couple of different recipes for that. I will follow blogs. So Pioneer Women has a lot of great blog recipes. I Breathe, I'm Hungry is another one that I really like. Those things I pin as well. So if I have a blog that I know is reliable, I'll do that, and I'll follow them and I'll pin their recipes. So if I see something on social media, I will use that and I'll find the link and I'll pin it. So that is how I use Pinterest for meal planning. It's basically like an online cookbook for me that I've collected all of these recipes from different places and I've organized them so that they make sense to me. So my tips to you would be make sure that you're creating your own pins. And if you need help on that, on creating your own pins, let me just go ahead and show you since we're here. Um, Click on this plus sign when you're here. You can also do it in your apps. And then you just paste that into there and you get all your images that you want. You can either choose a visual image or you can choose one of these word images, and then you pick the board. So this one is a treat recipe for us. So I'll go down here to treat recipes and to save it. And I mean, it's as simple as that to create your own pins as opposed to using other people's. And yeah, so I would recommend you create your own pins. You be very specific in regards to your boards. Then you can drag and drop and organize them as you need. And you'll see here my favorite recipes and low carb winners are the very top of my board because those are the ones that I hit most often. And those are the ones that I deal with most often. And I would say that I had been creating a whole bunch and they were all very disorganized, and I went through and organized my board for this event, and it feels a lot better at this point. So if you guys have any questions about Pinterest at this point, feel free to message me. If you need some help in regards to just the basics of Pinterest, we can talk about that one-on-one, or I can send you some links. And that's about it for today. So I hope that this helps encourage you to use Pinterest for your meal planning and not just wasting time. And I will talk with you guys later. Bye.